We all kind of started talking, and we had a meeting. My One of my cousins set up a meeting in Dallas with with Pete Marwick and Mitchell, who did family planning, and we all showed up in Dallas and sat down and listened to these folks, and every one of us, there were 7 of us. We all came out of that meeting thinking, oh my God, they have no idea what a ranch is, or, I mean, they're treating it like a construction company. This just none of anything they said was going to fit us. So we started talking. My dad, who he wasn't a part of all this, he didn't care. He said, he had said he was going to leave it to all 4 of us equally, and I'm going, Dad, that's not going to work. that's just not going to work among the 4 of us. Nobody will have enough to make a living on, and if you think 4 of us are going to get together and run a ranch, I said, just give it to one of us and figure out how to compensate the rest of us. I said, 4 is just crazy. Well, at any rate, it turned out that there were 7 of us. That first meeting was in 1997. We talked on the phone, and we actually would get together once a year, but we did a lot of emailing and trying to decide what we wanted from the ranch. How all of us kids were going to be a part of the ranch. Well, my brother had said he didn't want part of it, he wanted the whole thing. And everybody agreed. They didn't want just a piece of the ranch or, none of the ranch. They wanted the whole ranch to stay intact and to go on conceivably forever. So that's how we started our succession planning. I came up with the idea, being in the title business, I had never seen a big ranch stay together more than 20 or 30 years after, either the second or third generation. Either the estate taxes got them, or, there were so many in the family, one of the kids, or, they want their money out, so they can invest it or start a business or whatever. So we all decided, ask, what do you want this to look like in 100 years? But ask everybody, ask all the kids, the grandkids. We talked, and it was maybe 2 years that we all talked, and then we came up with just kind of a general outline of what we wanted to see the ranch, how we wanted to see the ranch in 100 years. Basically, we wanted the whole Trigg family to be welcome there, to be able to go, to work, to play. But if you didn't work on the ranch, you didn't get anything. Well, so what I suggested to the family is, let's just take the incentive for selling it away. So that there's no real reason to ever sell it. So that's essentially what it took a lot of people a while to understand how that would work. Our vision was we wanted it owned by the family, so you couldn't sell your interest, and you got no money, so nobody ever thinks of it as an economic interest. Basically, we set up a trust, a dynasty trust, and the reason for a dynasty trust, it was we used South Dakota as a home state for the Dynasty Trust, and essentially the trust can go on forever. I wrote a letter outlining what we thought, what we had all decided we wanted. And I must have interviewed 8 sets of attorneys. And I'd send them this letter ahead of time. And I would walk into their office, and all of them except one would say, well, we just can't do what you want to do. And I said, thank you very much. Got up and said, you may bill me if you want to, but I have some other attorneys to talk to. So we finally found one attorney who understood what the hell we were talking about. And our accountant, of course, just thought we had all just gone bonkers. But we found an attorney who said, well, I think I can do what you all want done. And so from the time we got the attorney till we actually started gifting our interests into a trust was probably 3 years. So that whole process was pretty detailed and took 5 years, almost 5 years. What we did is we wanted everybody that were grandchildren, anybody alive who was a lineal descendant of my grandfather and grandmother to have an equal interest. So my granddaughter has as much interest as I have. That splits it all up, and you don't have one person going, well, I put in 40% or I put in 12% or whatever, and everybody owns it equally. What we did is we gave our interests into this trust, and that included cattle and equipment, which was in a corporation, and then the land, which we put into a family limited partnership, so we could get all those crazy different interests all together in one entity. And then we just started gifting our corporate stock and our interest in the family limited partnership. So the basic, and then that took another 6 years. So the basic issue was, so how do you disperse money? We decided we wanted that money to go back into the ranch. We also wanted whoever was working on the ranch to get a good wage. And then, if we couldn't spend all the money on the ranch, put it in the ranch and or in wages, that extra money would go to charity. So if you didn't work on the ranch, you get nothing. We did put a provision in that if 85% of the beneficiaries, and remember, every beneficiary has one vote. So somebody dies, that's one that's one less person. If you have births, and we've had 2 this year or last year, that adds another 2. We had 27, now we're at 29. But at any rate, it takes 85% to agree to sell the ranch. And if you sell it, that money goes to charity. So there is no reason, there's no reason to ever sell it, because you're not going to get anything.